The Snitch. He swears he won't tell anyone about your embarrassing date story, but the next day everyone laughs at the stupid pickup lines you used on your first date. Did you hear what happened to Pluto? Yeah, that's messed up. Another planet will be gone after I destroy Uranus. In your friend group, he's the one who told your parents where the party really was. In criminal circles, he's the reason witness protection program exists. Meet Sammy the Bull Gravano. The It Wasn't Me guy of the mob. This man was the underboss of the Gambino crime family, and then he flipped faster than your ex when the FBI came knocking. Gravano confessed to involvement in 19 murders and then testified against John Gotti, taking down the entire operation. He was like, the mob in the past, now the FBI is my best friend. And the wild part, he got a reduced sentence of just 5 years. 5 years for 19 murders. I mean, I got detention just for a deed that I drew in school. But Snitch wasn't that bad, unlike the Drunken Menace. You know that friend who texts, just having one drink, and then you're getting a 3 AM call to bail them out because they're swimming in the mall fountain, wearing nothing but their boxers and someone else's stolen sunhead. That's your Drunken Menace friend. Sober, they are lovely. Give them 3 drinks and suddenly they think they're invincible, bulletproof, and somehow exempt from both gravity and the law. The perfect example of this is Bam Margera, former Jackass star. Man really said, what if I took all these Jackass stunts, but did them drunk, and without cameras, and in public places. The dude has more hotel distraction incidents than the amount of women I ever talked to in my life. Throwing furniture, punching holes in walls, threatening stuff. Just picture GTA in real life, but with worse graphics, terrible lighting, and absolutely no cheat codes to escape the consequences. But while the Drunken Menace relies on liquid courage, our next type only needs one weapon, the gift of gab, the Rizzler. This friend should have been the Rizzler, talking every girl he met into watching Netflix with him. But approaching women was scary, so he turned those charming skills towards something less risky. Like crime. He doesn't need weapons, just a nice suit, a charming smile, and the ability to lie better than your ex. The GOAT of this category? Frank Abagnale Jr. He really woke up every day and chose a new career. Monday, he's a pilot. Tuesday, feeling doctorish. Wednesday, let's try being a lawyer. And everyone believed him. This man cashed out over $2.5 million in fraudulent checks before getting caught. And how old was he? 21. I'm 21 now and all I can afford is ramen. Speaking of smooth operators, let's meet the friend who's one business opportunity away from asking for your credit card details. The con artist. He's constantly starting new businesses. 1 month it's essential oils, next month it's dropshipping, then it's some weird app that's basically Uber but for pet rocks. He's always promising massive returns on your small investment, and somehow has a new luxury watch despite living in his mom's basement. The OG of this hustle, Charles Ponzi. He was such a successful scammer that they literally named the scam after him. In 1920, Ponzi convinced thousands of people to invest in a postage stamp arbitrage scheme, promising 50% returns in 45 days. Of course, there was no scheme. He was just using new investor money to pay earlier investors, creating the illusion of profit. At his peak, he was making $250,000 per day in today's money. Literally all the influencer gurus on Instagram learned from this man. But maybe you prefer friends with a bit more flair. The fashion star. He shows up to your casual Tuesday night pub quiz, dressed like they're attending the Met Gala. The one who would rather die than be caught in public without their signature look. And signature look for him means throwing all the colorful clothes his mother bought him on sale. In the criminal world, those are the ones who want to be remembered not just for what they did, but for how absolutely fabulous they looked while doing it. The terrifying poster child for this category, John Wayne Gacy. He dressed well, charmed the neighborhood, and even performed as a clown at parties, which sounds wholesome until you realize he wasn't clowning around. Ever. He killed at least 33 young men and thought the clown thing was a good cover. This is why people are afraid of clowns, John. The duality of this man was so extreme that neighbors described him as the life of the party, while he had bodies buried under his house. What a versatile personality. Speaking of wanting to be noticed, the attention addict. She's usually the girl who tweets, "Worst day ever," with no context. The one who leaves one-word responses hoping you'll ask what's wrong. She would rather die than not be the main character. But in the criminal world, attention addicts don't just want to commit crimes, they want everyone to know it was them, while also not getting caught. The Zodiac Killer was exactly like that. This man wasn't satisfied with just committing murders. He had to write letters to newspapers, create his own logo, and develop a literal brand identity for his killing spree. He sent coded messages that took decades to crack, called into live TV shows to taunt police, and basically turned being a serial killer into a crime show. And the wildest part, his strategy worked. We're still talking about him 50 years later, and they still haven't caught him. Not all criminals are so bright though. Some are just stupid. The dumb bass. Every friend group has one. The one who tried to charge their phone by putting it in the microwave because they saw a life hack online, or asked if Europe is a country with a European language, and meant it. You always question how he made it to adulthood, but still love this friend because he makes you feel like a genius by comparison. Take the Newton gang from Texas for example, who in 1924 set out to rob a train they heard was carrying $300,000 in cash. They spent weeks planning the perfect heist, gathered all their weapons, risked their lives, and then robbed their own train. That's right, they stopped a train that had basically nothing of value on it. It's like pulling an all-nighter to prepare for the exam, only to find out that the exam is on a different subject. When they finally did target the right train later that year, they accidentally shot one of their own gang members 4 times during the robbery. And the cherry on top, they got caught because one of them needed medical attention. Criminal masterminds, they were not. Or I've got an even better one. There was a guy who robbed a bank, and then applied for a loan at that same bank a week later. The loan officer recognized him immediately. Don't I know you from somewhere? I just have one of those faces that was wearing this exact same distinctive jacket last week during your robbery. Fun fact, the people who are subscribed to this channel have the highest IQ on earth. But sometimes even the worst of us can see the light and turn their lives around. The renowned philosopher. This is the friend who went through an intense emo phase in high school, dabbled in some questionable life choices, and emerged on the other side with unexpectedly profound insights about human nature. He is constantly posting inspirational quotes on Instagram and preaching vegan diets, despite drinking vodka from a shoe a month earlier. As I sat in my cell, I realized that the real prison was in my mind. But now I'm a renowned man. Please buy my book, available wherever books are sold. It is called The Power of Mind. A criminal turned sage award goes to none other than our friend Frank Abagnale Jr. Yes, him again. After getting caught and serving his time, the man pulled the Uno reverse card on his life. He literally went from being hunted by the FBI to working for the FBI, becoming one of the world's leading experts on document fraud and security. Abagnale's second act has been way more profitable than his criminal days. Now he makes corporate training videos and gives speeches for $25,000. Just think about it for a second. But not everyone is clever enough to reform. Some just double down on what they're good at, being absolutely massive. The musclehead. He can bench press 300 pounds, but couldn't spell bench press if his life depended on it. The musclehead thinks every problem can be solved with brute force. Computer not working? Hit it. Door stuck? Kick it. Someone disagrees with you? Looks like it's time for an arm wrestling contest to settle who's right. This is exactly why I always preferred to be friends with them. Because I didn't want to be the one he punched when he was bored. John Dillinger's gang in 1930s was loaded with these types. These guys didn't believe in elaborate Ocean's 11 style heists. Their entire strategy was basically have more guns and be scarier than everyone else in the room. That's it, that was the whole plan. They robbed over 24 banks and stole more than $300,000, about $7 million today, in just 1 year. Just straight up jumping over bank counters while waving Tommy guns around. When Dillinger was once asked why he robbed banks, he famously replied, because that's where the money is. Not exactly rocket science, but you can't argue with the results. But maybe brute force isn't your style. Maybe you prefer your criminals like you prefer your dating app matches, with impeccable manners and a mysterious backstory. Gentleman. On the surface he seems like the most charming person ever. He holds doors open, never forgets a birthday, and somehow makes saying "my good sir" not sound completely cringe. He's suspiciously well-mannered in a way that makes you wonder if they're actually British royalty in disguise. But don't be fooled. Under the charm is someone who could verbally destroy you with a passive-aggressive roast so classy you would thank him afterward and spend the next 5 years in therapy trying to get your self-esteem from the ground. Your opinions are like antiques. Outdated, dusty, and only valuable to the delusional. Jesse James was the poster boy for this criminal type. This man robbed trains and banks across the Midwest for 16 years, while somehow maintaining a Robin Hood-esque reputation. He would often give money to strangers in need, refused to rob from passengers during train heists, just the evil railroad companies, and was known for being extremely polite during his robberies. Imagine being so charming that people are like, yes, he did point a gun at me, but he was so gentle about it. The public loved him so much that when rewards were offered for his capture, locals would often help him escape instead. Man really had better PR than most celebrities today, and this was before social media. When Jesse James robs banks, everyone calls him a hero. But when I post a spicy political meme, suddenly I become a public enemy #1. Some serious double standards here, folks. Fun fact that will make you question loyalty forever. Jesse was killed by Robert Ford, a member of his own gang, for a $10,000 reward. With friends like this, who needs enemies? So what type of criminal are you? Comment below if you're a gentleman, the dumb bass, or, God forbid, the Drunken Menace. But you know what's not criminal? Smashing that subscribe button. Well, unless you're doing it with excessive force, then it might be vandalism. I'm not a lawyer. Bye!